together, we will make America great again.
Ay, 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 por Dios, yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Repítelo. Ay, 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 por Dios, yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Mi gente sale a votar sin miedo a la calle.
Now, do you understand that it was never about your legal status? It was just about the fact that you were not white. Trump told you that he was going to do this, and you let him use you. Cubans for Trump, Latinos for Trump, dogs for slaughterhouses, and y'all voted for him. And it's just because you had too much disdain for a black woman. You could not stand to see a black woman make it into the position of power that y'all wanted, so you voted for the man who wanted to send you back to your war-torn countries. Because most of these visas, the over 500,000 visas that he's revoking, are visas that Biden gave to people who were fleeing war-torn countries. Biden did so much for the country, provided so much solitude, gave the people a fighting chance, alley-ooped it up to Harris, and you guys said, no, she's black. Have a month to self-deport. Not a month to contest, not a month to get your legal status in order. He is giving 500,000 people a month to self-deport or face deportation through ICE. And you know what ICE is now? They take you to Guantanamo Bay. They're going to make you slave labor. And you know who doesn't have rights in America? Non-citizens. I remember vividly arguing with people, letting them know that it did not matter if you got here legally. It does not matter how you are as an immigrant, if you're a model immigrant. If you are not a white American, they were not going to protect you. And we told you all. What? I just saw a video of Cubans on a boat singing Cubans are going to vote for Trump. You see the first list of people on this? Cubans. And they were one of the loudest supporters of Trump. It makes no sense. He said he was going to do this. I need to know, why did y'all vote for him when y'all knew he was going to do this?
Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Rose M React. In today's video, we look at how the Cuban voters are crying out after Trump revoked their legal status. Cuban Americans, a group that largely supported Donald Trump, are now finding themselves at the receiving end of his latest immigration crackdown. Yes, you heard it right. The same man they rallied behind is now revoking the legal status of thousands of Cubans. So what happened? How did we get here? Let's break it down. Before we get to the story, let me play a few clips on the same, and I'll be back with my commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of these videos. Kindly consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any trending topics.
The legal status of over 500,000 people living in the United States was just reversed by the Trump administration. It affects Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. They now have 30 days to leave the country, or they'll face arrest and deportation. They were allowed to be in the country through a humanitarian parole program. They had work permits. They went through background checks and health checks. But on March 25th, the Department of Homeland Security terminated their program.
Now, these families and these individuals are facing the possibility that their loved ones could be returned to that same danger that they just managed to escape.
So why is it being terminated? A notice from Homeland Security said policies like it do not serve a significant public benefit and are not necessary to reduce levels of illegal immigration. The program was launched 3 years ago under President Joe Biden to try and curb illegal migration of Venezuelans. It was soon expanded to include other Latin and Caribbean countries. By the end of last year, more than 500,000 migrants had entered the U.S. as part of the program.
The Trump administration is now planning to deport more than 530,000 legal immigrants in the United States. You heard that right. Legal. Let me explain. This is new reporting from CBS News. The Trump administration is revoking the legal status of 530,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. So these immigrants came to the United States legally under a Biden-era sponsorship process, and now the Trump administration is urging them to self-deport or face arrest and removal by deportation agents. CBS says that the termination of their work permits and deportation protections under an immigration authority known as parole will take effect in late April, 30 days after March 25th, according to a notice posted by the federal government. And the Department of Homeland Security said it will seek the arrest and deportation of those subject to the policy change if they fail to depart the U.S. in the next 30 days. Officials are urging migrants to use the newly repurposed CBP Home smartphone app to register for self-deportation. DHS says it retains the authority to target migrants who arrived under this program before the 30-day period lapses. Officials say those prioritized for arrest will include migrants who have failed to apply for another immigration benefit like asylum or a green card. That's the latest update. We're going to keep filling you in on all the news, so make sure you're following our account and add the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Trump has revoked the legal status of over 500,000 Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and Haitians. Patriots, check in. This is Secret Service and President of TikTok. This is crazy because there is so many Cubans in Miami. I actually have Cuban family, and a lot of them did vote for Trump. Yikes, how's it working out for you guys? Because they're like, no, he's not going to deport us. He's going to deport them, not us. Yeah, well, the news is in and you don't have the complexion for the protection. Oh, he foffoed, he effed around and found out. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys know any family members that have been affected by this at all? I have several Haitian friends, Nicaraguan friends. This is just not right. Everybody agrees we want to clean up our streets and get the criminals out of our country, but with due process. Due process. We have to process things. I mean, it's ridiculous. Does anybody remember the Constitution? I mean, it's so funny how many people are like, Constitution, I love the Constitution. Yeah, we're American. Yeah, and unless it works out good for you, and then you don't care. Because the honesty is, the human flaw is, if it's not in your front yard, you don't care about it till it gets into your front yard. Well, let me know, all my Cubanos, huh? Because my niece is Cuban. We're Jewish. We're Cubans. She's a Cuban. I'm actually a cashew because I'm Catholic and Jewish. My wife is Catholic. Anyway,
For decades, Cuban Americans have supported the Republican, with many believing that the GOP is their best defense against the socialism they or their families fled from. In 2020, a whopping 55% of Cuban Americans voted for Trump, and in 2024, that number increased. Miami-Dade County, long considered a Democratic stronghold, saw a shift as more Cuban aligned with Trump's rhetoric on socialism, the economy, and border security. But let's be real, Trump never truly cared about Cuban immigrants beyond their votes. He played into the veil of socialism, painting the Democrats as the enemy while causing up to the dictators himself. Yet, Cuban Americans went all in, thinking he had their backs. Fast forward to today, and reality is hitting hard. Now that he is back in power, Trump has decided that humanitarian programs allowing the Cubans, the Haitians, the Nicaraguans, and the Venezuelans to stay in the US is a problem. So what does he do? He revokes their legal status, putting over 530,000 people at the risk of deportation. And yes, many of them are the Cuban, the very same Cuban Americans who saw him as their champion and now realizing, maybe too late, that he was never really on their side. Let's put this into perspective. The programs he is ending allowed these migrants to live and work legally in the US for up to 2 years. Many of these people have families, they have jobs, and they have lives they have built here. But with the stroke of a pen, Trump is pulling the rug out from under them. And this, my friend, is what we call a classic FAFO. F around and find out. Cuban voters thought they were securing their future by backing Donald Trump. Instead, they are watching him strip them of their legal status faster. The very policies they cheered for when they thought they applied to other immigrants are now hitting their own communities. And let's not forget, this is not the first time Trump has turned on his old supporters. Remember the fighters who stormed the Capitol for him? Many of them are now in prison, while Trump is free, living large, and using their pride to fundraise for his legal battles. The pattern is clear. Trump uses people for his own gain and tosses them aside when they are no longer useful. So how are the Cuban Americans reacting? Well, some are shocked. They genuinely believed that Trump would protect them. Others are silent, not wanting to admit they were wrong. And then there are those trying to spin this, claiming it's all a mistake, or blaming the Democrats somehow. But the truth is unavoidable. Trump made this decision, and Cuban Americans are now facing the consequences. Activists and immigration groups are scrambling to respond, trying to challenge the policy in court. But legal battles take time, and in the meantime, thousands of people are left in limbo. Families are terrified, businesses that employ these individuals are confused, and the betrayal is undeniable. The big question now is, will Cuban Americans finally wake up? Will they see that Trump was never their ally, just a con man preying on their fears? Or will they double down, continuing to support a man who has made it clear that his loyalty is only to himself? This should be a wake-up call, not just for the Cuban Americans, but for all voters who fall for political fear-mongering. Politicians like Trump will say whatever it takes to get your vote, but once they are in power, their true priorities become clear. And in this case, Cuban immigrants are learning the hard way. So let's recap. Cuban Americans fought for Trump in large numbers. Trump promised to protect them. Now he is revoking the legal status of thousands of Cubans, putting them at the risk of deportation. If this is not the biggest power moment of the year, I don't know what it is. The truth hurts, but it's necessary. It's time for people to realize that supporting a politician out of fear, without looking at their actual policies, can backfire in ways they never expected. And for Cuban Americans who put their trust in Trump, well, let's just say, lesson learned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real talk. I'll see you in the next one.